Motion 8, as written in the style of War and Peace and amended, is this conference agrees the National Executive should take steps to ensure complaints and disciplinary processes and procedures, as well as the Code of Conduct, are clear and easily accessible to all members. The distinction between complaints and disciplinary matters must be clarified, particularly at what stage a complaint might become a disciplinary matter that needs escalating. Wherever possible, and in line with the disciplinary policy, branches and regions should deal with issues locally in the first instance. Branches and regions shall be empowered to impose commensurate penalties within relevant guidelines at local level. Proceedings shall be recorded appropriately and shall be monitored by the regional director, and this is being proposed by Bradford branch. Do we have a proposer in the room from Bradford? There you go, if you'd like to come down.
Afternoon conference, Ricky Holden from Bradford branch. I assume everybody was here yesterday during the debate on a disciplinary issue. I've spent hundreds of hours trying to mediate in that case in the last 2 years. I feel sorry for the guys behind me, and Nick Anton, I don't know if he's here today, but particularly Ash and Jill, who've had to work through this case, which in our opinion should never have gone to the National Executive. It should have been dealt with locally. The individuals concerned could have been with correct authority, which we don't have at the moment, or maybe we have but no one knows about it, being suspended from his branch, and then if things didn't improve, maybe barred from his branch, but not thrown out altogether, unless he did something that was actually throw-outable, I don't know if that's a word, which I don't think actually he did. Certainly not the cases that the guys behind me had to adjudicate on. It says amended. This has been raised over 2 years, parts of it, and until last week, the NE weren't going to back us, but we got together, thankfully, facilitated by Jill, and we managed to get a wording that's acceptable. We think branches are responsible enough to deal with their own cases. And if they need help, they can ask for help and hopefully get it. At the moment, the only option that the branch concerned yesterday had was to refer it to the NE. It created havoc. It was an absolute waste of time, hundreds and hundreds of hours spent when it could have been dealt with in a couple of days in the local branch. So please support this motion. Let's get this on the way, and then I understand there's going to be a full review of the disciplinary process, because a lot of it is maybe not contradictory, but it doesn't fit correctly in sort of a legal viewpoint, in our opinion. So it all needs reviewing. Let's get that done as well and make the campaign much more efficient and proficient. Please back the motion. Thank you.
We're going to go to Jill for a point of information.
Sorry, Ricky.
Sorry, I need to get it seconded first.
All right.
Second, there we go, in the back. Thank you. Do you want to speak? Do we have to take the speech first?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take the point of information and then we'll go to your second speech.
𝗖𝗄𝗄 Derby branch. Really just what Ricky said at the end there, the reason that we're possibly looking at the review of disciplinary committee isn't because of a legal standpoint, it's because the world's changed and the way things were written back in the day, you know, like Article 16 and you can do this and you can do that. We saw it yesterday. It's a little bit turgid and doesn't really reflect modern life. So we just want to uplift it, really. Thank you.
Thanks, and then we'll go to the seconder.
Good afternoon, conference. Edward Lee, Halifax and Carlisle branch. Just to echo what Ricky said, thanks to everybody and certainly thanks to Bradford branch for mediation in our case. And it's been very difficult, and this is not meant a criticism of anybody. But in our branch, we had a situation started in March 2023. It took a year for the first resolution to take place, which was a 3-month suspension of a certain member. That person didn't accept that resolution, and we found ourselves in a situation where their presence in our meetings became untenable. We had a Democrat decision in the branch where we voted unanimously, there was one abstention, that they should not be permitted to attend our meetings anymore, and we put a proposal through that they should change branch. We never wanted them expelled or anything. There was a second complaint, but we didn't actually want that result. It's caused so much stress. The procedures we have at the moment are just not fit for purpose. Yesterday, we had the member in this room was allowed to speak.
Can we focus on the motion rather than an individual?
Okay, I'm not going to name any individuals. Sorry about that. But you know, what I will say then, I'll change that. What I will say, and when we were allowed to speak in here, there was no chance for anyone to object against it. So we got a one-sided argument yesterday. That's the point I'm making. We only had a one-sided. It was voted on a one-sided argument. So I don't want to, as I said, I don't want to criticise anybody. You know, the procedures were followed from what I can see at the moment. But they're not. What we've got at the moment is not fit for purpose. So I would wish that you would support this motion. Thank you very much.
Does anyone wish to speak against the motion? Chris?
Chris Rouse, North West Essex. I agree with the first part of this motion. The bit that really worries me is that branches and regions shall be empowered to impose commensurate penalties within guidelines. Okay? So just imagine you've got a branch where the branch chair is a bit dictatorial, doesn't like someone, and gets them banned from their meetings. Well, if this comes in, that gives them the opportunity. That's really bad for branch meetings. Okay, we've just had an example where pretty much the entire branch didn't want someone to turn up to their meetings, which I can understand, but this is going way above that situation and gives people in branch, or people with a high position in branches, power to do things that are inappropriate. In the case of Bradford, in that situation, it should have been escalated, and it was, I believe. That is the correct procedure. This is not the way to do it. So please reject the motion. There is already going to be a full review of our disciplinary procedures. So let that review take place, and if necessary, let's remit this motion. Thank you.
Anyone wish to speak in favour of the motion? Yeah, Rob.
Hello everybody, Rob Hamnet-Day, Chair of Grantham Branch and East Midlands Regional Director. And first I'd like to say I'm a nice camera member. I actually sit on People's soon-to-be Member and Volunteer Experience Committee. We are looking at carrying out this review. We are looking at how we do this, how we make sure that everything is recorded, everything is done the same across the campaign to do this. I ask for this motion to be remitted to give us the chance to complete the work that we've already started on, and we, if needs be, I will happily come and stand up here next year and give a presentation on what we've decided to do so that you can all see what we want to see and how we're going to make things fair and equal across the country. I ask for this motion to be remitted.
And just because I was told the process was yesterday, as soon as you sit down, Rob, are you requesting a remittance? I am. Thank you. The proposers now have a minute to argue against that remittance, if you wish to do so.
Should we explain what remittance is?
Yeah, so if a motion is remitted, as it says on the screen, it means essentially conference doesn't make a decision, but we take it away as a national executive and consider it at our next meeting and whether there is stuff to do with it.
Hi, Ricky Holden again from Bradford. If it's remitted, the gentleman concerned yesterday could easily start going back to his branch. His branch, this week, hopefully, will want to write to him, telling him he's now barred from the branch, which previously they were told they could only advise him not to attend. Advice is not an instruction.
That's not really an argument against
No.
remittance.
It is an argument, because if it's remitted, they won't be able to do that until this is sorted out. And this is quite an urgent issue, and we've spent 2 years sorting
This motion wouldn't change the outcome of yesterday's appeal.
So they can write and ban him then?
Sorry?
They could, currently, they've been told they cannot write and tell him not to come to their meetings.
Okay, but passing this motion wouldn't
If it's
result in that immediately either.
Well,
That case has now been dealt with.
if this is passed, surely it gives branches the right to...
Yeah, but not immediately. Then we have a process where that would have to be looked at and all that sort of stuff. But that's still irrelevant because that is now a dealt with appeal. You can't ban someone because you didn't like the outcome of an appeal.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Would you like to argue against remittance?
Yes, I am doing. I think branches need this power. It is a power. It's not going to be abused, and it shouldn't be. The RDs are supposed to... It explicitly says the RDs should be monitoring it and guiding branches. So I don't really think there's the worry about dictatorial this or dictatorial that. The real matter is branches need the power, because this could happen to any branch at any time. It's a very rare event, and it's happened to Calderdale, not my branch. And we support them, and we've supported them all the way through. So please don't remit it. Trust the branches and the RDs to get this right.
Okay, we'll move to the vote on remittance. So all those in favour of remitting this motion to the National Executive? All those against? Motion is remitted.